We do have a Noah Dobson update as well that I hinted at that I think is important to get into. He changed his agent today. So naturally there was some speculation on what that means. And I think it can mean one of two things. And you're going to say, well, no duh, Matt. But either he did that to have the new guy negotiate his next contract extension or to facilitate a trade. I don't think it was just like, randomly, I'm going to go with another guy. He's on his last year of his deal. He's going to be a restricted free agent. He already signed a bridge deal once. Like, this is his opportunity to get that first long-term kind of deal here. So he's kind of lining things up to put him in a better spot to make more money.
Yeah, well, that's why you get a new agent, right? Like, you get a guy because the previous guy wasn't able or couldn't get you what you wanted, it seems like, right? So that's why you make a change. Like, I want something, this guy isn't helping me achieve that, so I'm going to get someone else, is what Noah Dobson did. Now, what he wants is going to be debated, is the real debate here. Is it a contract extension or a trade? I tend to believe it's a contract extension, that he wants to get that like $8 by $9 or $8 by $10 million contract. And this new guy might help him do that. He's going to have to score a whole heck of a lot more to do so, but that's why he did it, right?
I think so too. And Elliot Friedman was on Sportsnet, and I have some audio that I can play here. And he gives some insight as well to the situation on Noah Dobson. So we'll listen to it and react.
In some trade rumors, I think he was offered up in one specific case. I don't believe he's been generally available. So I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it. But, I think if you're ever going to change your agent, it's going to be right before you negotiate a new deal. Because if the way it works is if Dobson was to get a new contract and then switch, the agent that negotiated the contract gets, I think, 90% of the commission.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make the change, you do it before you're making before you're signing a new contract. But I don't have any reason to believe at this point in time that he's doing it because he wants to leave New York.
There you go.
Are you shocked? Or are you shocked by that?
No, not really. Again, I think he's just setting himself up. And if it so happens to be for a trade, so be it. Not that like his new agent's going to be like, all right, you got to send Noah Dobson here, but he's going to have to negotiate a new contract with whatever team is acquiring him also. So I do think it's more for that reason. I don't necessarily think it's like Lou's trading him tomorrow and he wanted to get another agent in here kind of thing.
No, exactly. It's not I'm not happy. Why all of a sudden would he be not happy when he's injured? Like what's going on here? It'd be different if, he's not getting playing time. Usually these things crumble away when it comes to changing agents to facilitate a trade. There's an erosion between the two sides in terms of trust. And that doesn't seem to have happened here on the island with Noah Dobson and the New York Islanders. So I agree totally with what Elliot Friedman says there, that this is all about trying to get not a bag of money, because it is, but it's not all about the Benjamins. It's getting the right contract, and I don't think the guy that he had was, in his mind, the right person to do that. Maybe they had a differencing of opinions on what he could possibly get. It is interesting what Elliot Friedman said there about the trade, though, that he was offered. He wasn't, Lou didn't call all 31 teams to be like, Noah Dobson's available. What are you giving me? He made one specific approach to see if he can make that trade. And obviously that didn't happen. What do you think that one was?
I think it's, and people are going to hate me because I continue to bring this one up, but I do think it's Vancouver with Elias Pettersson. Just because that's the name that insiders have continuously linked to the Islanders. Can it be some random team that we have no idea? Of course, sure, that's always a possibility. But it's really hard for me not to go to that specific team because you have guys like Stefan Rosner, who was reporting that the Vancouver Canucks were very interested in Dobson and that the Islanders were very interested in Elias Pettersson. And credit to Stefan Rosner, too, by the way. One, because I think he's a really solid reporter, but number two, he had all the insiders retweeting his tweet on the Dobson change of agents. So he's breaking some pretty legit news.
Yeah, first one on it. Good job by him. And yeah, like I also agree. It's Elias Pettersson. Like it just where there's smoke, there's a fire, and the smoke is that Elias Pettersson was made available. There isn't really anyone of the same magnitude. Maybe Rantanen. Maybe there's a Rantanen type of situation, right? Like that's the only player who moved, right? Who has that star potential. It still wouldn't have been Rantanen for Dobson 1-for-1, but I could see something along the lines where in a framework for Rantanen that Dobson would have been in that. Although even then, I don't know if Lou would have. Maybe he offers it, but Rantanen isn't set on signing a contract, so Lou's like, nope, we're not having that discussion, and shut it down right away. That's the only one if we're not going to focus on Elias Pettersson, because otherwise it has to be someone of Rantanen's caliber.
Right. So again, we'll see if he ends up getting moved. But as Elliot was saying, like I don't think the Islanders are like, we got to trade Noah Dobson by the deadline.
No.
But if they're looking for a star caliber player, let's say, and someone comes up and it's like, hey, would you do this, and Dobson's a part of that, then maybe that changes their mind. But it's not like Lou's actively trying to, like, I got to get this guy out of here kind of thing.
No, you're absolutely right. It's not like we need to move Dobson. We got Tony DeAngelo. We can get rid of Noah Dobson. That's not what's happening here at all. It's an opportunity probably arose, either Elias Pettersson or Mikko Rantanen or maybe someone else, as you aptly said, like, Lou operates in the shadows, it seems. Someone else was made available, and he saw if he checked in to see if Noah Dobson or plus something else, I don't know, would have got said trade done. Obviously it didn't, and so he hasn't been shopped around from there. So Dobson isn't being shopped around. It's just Lou saw if he can make something happen, and then he couldn't.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it as well. There was, I don't want to say a deal on the table, but there was talks about a specific player. Dobson's name may have came up in that, and that's about it.
Again, I think it's one call where one like trade scenario was bandied about by two GMs, Lou and whatever other GM. No, Dobson's name was said in that trade conversation, and it never went anywhere. Clearly, because he hasn't been traded.
Right. And who knows, maybe that he still could, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like, if I were to put a percentage on it, I would say it's maybe like a 20% chance he gets traded in season, something like that.
Yeah, I was even lower at 5, considering the injury as well, right?
Oh, that's true too. Good point.
So like 5, and that's assuming he's back. But like, who knows when that's going to happen, if it's going to happen.
If you like that, make sure to subscribe to Up the Turnpike on Patreon for more exclusive New York Islanders content.